Alright, so this is a NOVEDUCATION podcast.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NOVEDUCATION. As always, I am your host, Noved, the mascot. Just so y'all know it's real. Just so y'all know it's real. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everybody's doing all right. Shout out to everybody watching the video. My ugly ass mug. Got the Reggie Bush over here. This is the Reggie Bush. I believe Reggie Bush and Matt Liner, and then Reggie Bush card, and then the Reggie Bush jumping over UCLA player. Iconic picture. And then over here on the right, I apologize for the glare. The glare over there, I didn't do a good setup this morning, but Mike Piazza, OG Mike Piazza, Los Angeles Dodgers. All my OGs know that. And up top, you got the Tommy Trojan statue. You can't really see it, but I'm glad everybody's here. Thank you for tuning in. I apologize for the voice too, because allergy season, man. It is bad, yo. All my allergy people, y'all know what the fuck is going on. It's not cool. It is not cool. I was on vacation this past week, and that shit was bugging. I was in Vegas, and all the wind was just, created a cough for me. So if I cough or, blow my nose or something, just please forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Take your Claritin, whatever you do. Claritin don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Benadryl just gets me fucking faded. Like that, none of that shit works for me. There's something that works for me. I believe it's called Walladin D. That one works really good for me. It doesn't get me drowsy, and it keeps the fucking flow going good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So if you feel me that my voice is fucking up right now, yeah, it's allergy season, baby. It is allergy season. But yeah, like I said, I hope everybody's doing all right. Got a lot of big news. Big fucking trades is happening, and I mean the biggest trade happened, I believe, like already this past weekend, and I was in Vegas, but I wanted to watch the UFC London card, and unfortunately I missed it because I was sleeping through it. We was out partying all night, and then woke up in the morning and partied a little bit and then napped, and I didn't want to miss it, but I ended up missing it. But went back and rewatched it, and it was a good card, man. Good card. One of the upsets, I got it pulled up right here. Sorry. One of the upsets was, I'm not really upset, but I really wanted Dan Hooker to beat Arnold Allen. See, Dan Hooker is the Hangman, bro. The Hangman. He's a fan favorite. He's become one of my favorite fighters. Just like rewatching his old fights and how he is, like when he when in their interviews. He always seems to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And the last big fight, I believe that he was going to he was fucking up Dustin Poirier, and he was saved by the bell. I believe, I recall that. And ever since then, like, he's been like kind of on this losing streak, but losing to Arnold Allen, let's see the fight. Yeah, it was a TKO. Yeah, losing to Arnold Allen isn't necessarily a bad thing. I believe he's undefeated, and he's up. He's on the come up, and this is what you do. When you're a promoter, you put fights together. You put these fighters who are fan favorites, who are veteran in the game, as kind of like not a stepping stone, but a blockade you need to get through in order to get through that other level, which Arnold Allen did. So, and Arnold Allen is a good fighter. He's on the come up. So it seemed this fight was meant to happen. It was booked for that. And he rose to the occasion. And Dan Hooker, I'm still excited to see him fight later on. I do think he still has one last gasp just for that goal for the belt. But there's a lot of things that could happen. And but shout out to the Hangman, Paddy Pimblett. Yo, Paddy, if y'all didn't know already, Paddy's the real deal, bro. He's the real deal. It was dope to see him win it in London. Like I rewatched it, and it's just dope. It's good TV. It reminds me of Conor McGregor, the old Conor McGregor's, when he would come in storming and he would have the fucking shaved sides and the fucking little tie on top of his head. Dude, that's what it kind of feels like when rewatching these London fights, and just to see him win, and it was a good card overall. And then I know people were talking about fucking Tom Aspinall and Alexander Volkov. This is a big win for Aspinall, but people think like, oh, it's a statement win, that it's his biggest win. It is his biggest win of his career, but it's still not that statement win to be like, yo, you're considered to be one of the next elites up there. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Volkov, he's had his ups and downs, but the way I believe Volkov lost, it puts him in like, okay, you're not about to make that another run. Your last run was, I believe, against Derek Lewis when he got knocked out in the last round. He still looked good through the whole fight, but fortunately got submissioned by Aspinall, and I believe it was the first round. The last 3 fights ended in the first round. Submission, TKO. Damn. So yeah, and all three. So you got one. You got performance of the night on the Jai Herbert and Topuria. You got the Molly Cam versus Carolina. Then you got the Pimblett versus Vargas, Allen versus Hooker, and Volkov versus Aspinall. Those are the fights of the performance of the night, dude. So good fucking card. Can't believe I fucking missed that shit. I was asleep through it. My boys was calling me because they wanted to play some bets. You know, couldn't do it. I apologize, but yeah. So it was a good time. But you know, we got some good fights coming up. I believe the next fight, is Korean Zombie versus Volkanovski. That should be a good one, man. That should be a really, really good fight. I can't think on top of my head what's the next one. I believe that might be the next one. But the talks around the Korean Zombie Volkanovski is not necessarily about the fight. The talk is about Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, he's been saying like, I want to come back. I want to fight Volkanovski. It sucks when things like this happen. I know you have like the Conor McGregor situation saying that it's him versus Usman for this 170 title. Maybe come back and fight a couple of fighters. You know what I'm saying? You can't just jump automatically in. Cejudo, on the other side, he left on top. He left as a champion. You know, he left at his best. So it's still not far-fetched for him to come back and be like, hey, I want to fight for that title shot. But they're not going to pay him that money because he wanted an ungodly amount of money. I believe like a little bit more than Conor McGregor money. But hey, if they could muster up some of the deals or maybe get the pay-per-views going, I don't give a fuck. If that fight happens, wow. Wow. Cejudo is a beast, and I still believe he is a beast. He's training people, he's coaching people just like Khabib. So if he does come back to fight Volkanovski, that's interesting because there's not really behind Volkanovski. You still got the Holloways. You still got who's in? I think it's Askarov, right? I'm not sure. Let me see. The UFC. Sorry, I'm typing in weight classes. Let's see. All right, the UFC division rankings. And then we got the featherweight. Yeah, you still have Yair Alexander. Oh, Calvin Kattar. You got Calvin Kattar, I believe, should fight Arnold Allen next to go up to be the next contender for the belt. That should be a great fucking fight. Obviously, Bryce Mitchell just jumped up everybody. Bryce Mitchell versus Brian Ortega seems like a good fucking matchup. Yes, Brian Ortega, I know he wants that rematch with Holloway or Volkanovski, but I don't know. I don't really know what happened with Holloway right now. I'm not sure. I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he got injured or something. He's back from injury. But Brian Ortega, he still wants to fight like right now. And off his last performance, you know, giving it his all against Volkanovski, I think he's still like a top contender. But if you could have someone just like him, you know, you got T-City who can choke out any fucking buddy still, bro, even though Volkanovski got out of it. Bryce Mitchell is right there, who came off a great performance. Like his performance versus Barbosa was pretty surprising, bro. He went through adversity, came up on top at the end, and still he has the pedigree for it to be like, look, I gotta go up. I need to go up. So Brian Ortega's right there. Calvin Kattar is right there, and you still got people in the middle. You got Arnold Allen, who just fought. Josh Emmett, who I believe just lost. I'm not sure. I believe we just lost. yeah, then you got Yair and then Sung Jung, who I believe is gonna fight. That's what's his name? The Korean Zombie, right? Yeah, he's gonna fight Volkanovski. I'm sorry, I forgot that was his name. They just call him the TKZ. But you got fighters that already fought and who are gonna already fight in that game. I mean, Yair is right there. Calvin Kattar is right there, coming off a good fucking performance. Bryce Mitchell should be in those talks right there. And then you got Edson Barbosa down in the bottom. So, hey, that division is looking like it's like, whoa, it's tossing up. You don't know who's gonna be there for. I know you got the Korean Zombie versus Volkanovski. I know that. But you gotta believe that Volkanovski is just gonna win. Just all around fighting. I think Volkanovski is the best fighter right in that division, regardless of what I think, even what happened between him and Max Holloway. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, whatever. That it is what it is. I thought he got robbed the first time. And then the second time I felt like, it was still up in the air. But you still got to believe, hey, there's no one really to challenge Volkanovski like that. Henry Cejudo, if he comes back, I think it is okay for him to be like, okay, pay me the money and let me try to defeat that featherweight belt. Let me try to defeat that. Let me try to get that back. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if it happens. Man. But yeah, I'm excited for that fight. I believe in that same card. Not bad. I came unprepared this morning, bro. I'm telling you, these allergies is no joke, bro. These allergies is no joke. I believe in that same card is the Aljamain Sterling fight, right? I believe it's in the same card. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the same card. Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. Finally, bro. To me, I think Peter Yan is an interim champion right now. Defeated Corey Sandhagen, I believe. Yo, Sandhagen is dope, bro. Don't be sleeping on Sandhagen. But defeated Corey Sandhagen, and he has. I mean, Peter Yan is the real fucking deal. I think I would say, and people would agree with me, that saying that he is the best fighter in that division. It's a pretty tough division. You still got from the bottom up. You still got Frankie Edgar. I mean, I don't know, but you got Sugar Sean O'Malley coming up in those ranks. Even though they're taking their time with him. You still got Chito Vera right there. Marlon Chito Vera, bro. He is a bad motherfucker, and I think he could make up a run to fight like maybe like a T.J. Dillashaw when he gets hurt, when he gets back. You still got Jose Aldo right there, Corey Sandhagen, and obviously Peter Yan. Dominic Cruz still there. He's lingering around. I don't know how he is right now, but I'm pretty sure he's going to fight within this year, I believe. I was looking at an interview, but that's a stacked division right there in that bantamweight, because Peter Yan, to me, is the best fighter in that division, and he is dominant, bro. The way he beat Jose Aldo that one time, I was like, God damn, and he's just a fucking scary man. We all know when he was fighting Aljamain Sterling that he was winning. We all know that Sterling ended up getting gassed out and then was getting his ass beat. Unfortunately, Peter Yan lost to a disqualification, an illegal knee to the face. So, and then Aljamain got hurt. They were supposed to fight. I think it works out better because now you have 2 title shots in the main event. And it's going to be 2 main events, 2 title shots in that fight. That's going to be a bigger pay-per-view. I'm not sure if it's this weekend, though. I'm so out of the loop, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I need a vacation from my vacation. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens with that. I'm taking Peter Yan in that one. I'm taking Alexander Volkanovski in that one. Who else is fighting in that card? I'm not going to get to it right now. Maybe I'm not going to get too into it. I'm sorry. But yeah, that should be the next card right now. And I do think that it's both fights. So tell me, who do you think is going to win right there? What do you think is next for, fighters like Bryce Mitchell? My God, I just went brain dead. What's going on with Brian Ortega? Who do you think, what's the story? What do you guys think is going to play it out? Do you think Henry Cejudo is going to get that shot for that title fight? Let me know what you guys think. But a couple of announcements. Freddie Freeman getting traded to the Dodgers, bro. That's what's up. I believe it was 9 years. I'm not sure about that, but hey, Dodgers, there's no way that you cannot come back and win it, bro. Like, you're built. This team is built for it, paid for it. Like, the only way I can see where we don't win it is because of injury, unfortunate injuries. I know a lot of people don't like Kershaw signing again. I know a lot of people don't like them spending up to get all that fucking capital. You know what I'm saying? But you do got these badass players. I know Mookie's still on. I don't know if he's hurt, but I know he comes up clutch whenever you need him to come up clutch. So there's no way that the Dodgers shouldn't win the World Series even this season, because Freddie Freeman is a bad motherfucker. So also LeBron James becoming second. I put out a video on out on the social medias, but moving into second all-time scoring slot, respect. Gotta respect it. Hey, the man, and I hate to admit it too, but shout out to the homie Joel. The man is a pass first player. He's always been a pass first player, but he could score, and he's always, he's a scorer at heart, but he always was a pass first player. Just recently, his playoff pedigree, his everything just goes into the legend of LeBron James, and now he will probably be the highest scorer of all time. So I think we just got to respect it. We got to respect the greatness. You know what I'm saying? Is he still, in my eyes, better than Kobe Bryant? No, I don't think that, because both of them at their pinnacles, when they had to meet, Kobe got him, bro. Kobe got him. But I had to throw that in as a jab. But respect to LeBron James, Bron, for being a second all time. He's a Laker, like I said. Bad time to be a Laker fan right now, only because of how it is. You know what it is, but we'll be back on track. You know what I'm saying? There's not, hey, you gotta let everybody, you gotta share the fucking light, homie. You gotta share the light. It's not always gonna be every fucking year where you're just dominant. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to LeBron James. That was dope. But on to the football news. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all ready to hear what I gotta say. Let me drink some of my coffee, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers. Little cafecito. All right, so there was word, and mind you, I was on vacation, like hearing all this shit. I didn't want to really, I knew that there was some bullshit that was going to happen, but Deshaun Watson going to the Browns, dude, that puts up a lot of, fantasy value on, I guess, Amari Cooper, but Kareem Hunt, did they re-sign Austin Hooper? I'm not too sure, but I'm about to look at JPA football again, just so y'all know. Yeah, so the word was that no matter what, had they gotten Deshaun Watson or not, that Baker wanted out. That was the word. Like, and he sent that note out to social medias, making it seem like, hey, I just want to leave no matter what. But Baker is not that type of player to me. I know a lot of people are like bashing on him for it, but hey, you got to do what's best for yourself, my boy. But he's not that type of player with the accolades and the pedigree to be like, I want to be traded. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think you are? Fucking Aaron Rodgers or something? Like, sit down, bro. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So now when they actually traded for, I believe that they opted out. They were out of the sweepstakes because they weren't able to give what the Texans wanted, right? And then so it was the Falcons, Saints, Panthers, and then I believe the Falcons were out. So it was pretty clear, like, oh shit, the Saints is gonna get him. I was happy. I'll take Watson. You know what I'm saying? Watson is a great player. We're not disregarding what's going on outside, but we're not gonna talk about that either yet. And then the Browns come back with this fucking major fucking deal. Like, I believe it was like $240 million or something like that. And they were like, okay, okay, let's go to where the money is. You know what I'm saying? So this puts the Browns, I don't know if it puts them in Super Bowl contention. They still got some plugs. They just released, I believe, did they release Myles Garrett? Or was that Myles Jack? I'm not sure. They still got some plugs, but it's a definite bump. Yes, you're still going to have the Deshaun Watson suspension. There has to be a suspension. It's going to come. Like, they're going to know that. So they still have Baker Mayfield. So it's a familiar offense still. Teams that could go after Baker Mayfield is getting low. Matt Ryan just got traded to the Colts, and that was one of the teams that I think could have got Baker. Atlanta, they got Mariota, but the reason why they got Mariota was because it's cheaper. And it's like we can go with Mariota is also a first overall pick quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's also been in the league almost not longer than Baker, but he's been on teams. He's been a starter. And he's cheaper right now, and we don't have to give up our draft picks for him. Let's get him. So the teams for Baker to go to be traded to, it's getting low. I was in fear that that the Saints were going to go after him. I was in fear, like as soon as the word was out that Watson was going to Cleveland. But they ended up signing Jameis Winston for 2 years. I believe that was the best move for it right now. Would I have wanted Jimmy Garoppolo? Maybe. You know, Garoppolo is that type of quarterback. You know, he's just going to get it done for you. He's going to help you win games, but you need pieces around him. Whereas the Saints, they got pieces, but it's still patchy right there. You know, you still got things that obviously it's not going to be the best season coming up, so you're going to be in some sort of rebuild. So I think Jameis was the best move for it. So I'm glad we didn't get Baker. And now I think Baker for to be in Cleveland is going to be a weird situation. Yes, they should trade. They should go out and like trade Baker for something at least, because in that locker room it's not going to be pretty. Not necessarily saying like that that Watson and Baker are going to be beefing it, but it's just the story that how I guess he handled it and how the Browns just kind of like, we got you, homie. Like, shut up. Like, you ain't going nowhere until we say, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, it's a nasty feeling. But from from just a pure football standpoint, Baker as a backup is great. And not to mention, you are going to have that suspension. So like I said, you're going to have that suspension with Deshaun Watson. Baker for about, I believe, maybe 4 or 5 games. It's a similar palette. Like, you just don't have Jarvis Landry, but you have Amari Cooper, who I believe is a better receiver than Jarvis, but he ain't that speedster. But you still got Cooper. You still got Nick Chubb, who's one of the best running backs in the league. You still got Kareem Hunt, who's one of the best running backs in the league. That offense is familiar to him. So for about 4 or 5 games, you can muster up 3 to 4 wins, take an L when you need to. That's good, bro. If I'm the Browns, I'm holding on to Baker as long as possible until a deal has been made, because you will have to be going through that suspension, and you still got to get Deshaun not only back to game speed, but acquainted with your playbook. And I still think the Browns are not done. I think they're going to go after a speedster, because in Deshaun's career, he's always had a dope speedster, and it's always worked. You're talking about the Will Fullers, the Brandon Cooks, you know, and who was it when he was gone? Who was it when Cooks wasn't there and Fuller wasn't there? I'm not sure, but so you're going to get a speedster. Will Fuller is still open up, so, and they have good history, good chemistry together. So, I mean, I don't know about the PEDs that Will Fuller took, but yeah, so that's still a questionable. Like, obviously, you know, it was a money move for Watson, but it's still questionable right there because of, you know, you got the whole Baker Mayfield thing. I thought that the Baker Mayfield would have been a great fit in Washington. Yes, they went after Wentz, and they're kind of similar players, but I think Baker Mayfield should have gone to Washington. That would have been a better fit than Wentz is right now. Granted, the season hasn't started. I know the season hasn't started, so why am I talking shit? I don't know, but I thought he could have been there. The Colts should have been nice. He even said, I want to go to the Colts, and the Colts were like, nah, bro. Like, nah, we're gonna get a veteran Hall of Fame quarterback who's not at the top, but who can still get it done. They got the offensive line to do it. They got the running back, obviously, to do it. And then you got a young stud receiver in Pittman, Michael Pittman. Shout out, SC, fight on. I think his value, even in draft, goes up, because Pittman, yes, with Wentz, it was good, but it wasn't, you knew exactly what you were getting. It was going to be that let's try to get it on 3rd and 15, and if not, boom, like, there goes your drive. But I think with Jonathan Taylor right there and Matt Ryan, he has proven that he can be a standard quarterback in the league and just get the ball down the field and get in the red zone. With Jonathan Taylor there, the offensive line right there, Pittman, they just signed Mo Alley Cox again. I think that's a good fit for right there for the Colts, and we'll see it. We'll see how that happens. That defense is obviously studs, so we're gonna see what happens with that AFC. The AFC now is stacked. So moving on to staying in the AFC, but moving on from teams, the big news. So I just got to, when I had got to Vegas, I was listening to podcasts, whatever, talking about it with my girl, just saying like, maybe this, maybe that. And then boom, as soon as I landed into my room, as soon as we got to the fucking hotels, the news broke out. Davante Adams is being traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. Motherfuckers was wildin'. I called up. I said it on the podcast before. Like, it's not far-fetched for them to go after this Davante Adams. I called up Just Incredible. He's a Raider fan. I was like, yo. He was like, "Whoa, what's up? Davante Adams to the Raiders." He was like, "No fucking way." And then he looked it up and blah. That's big, bro. That's big. Just at first glance, it was like, okay, something didn't work out. Something didn't work out in Green Bay. Something where the monies, the books didn't work out. Like, y'all just signed your quarterback. Y'all just signed your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, to, I believe, 4-year massive deal. Highest paid, I believe, quarterback ever. Player ever. And now you need to get your boys locked. And I knew that something was happening to where it's like, dude, you guys, the numbers are not meeting. You guys they're not matching. You know what I'm saying? But for the deal for the news to come out that the deal was the same price, I believe, and that Adams wanted out, that he wanted to go to to Las Vegas. There was something happening behind the scenes. I know that they said that Rodgers had said that, he knew that he was leaving it even before he came. I don't know how true that is, or you know what I'm saying. Maybe he'll come back in the Pat McAfee show saying whatever it is, what it is. But this puts an opening up in Green Bay. And if you're a fantasy owner, you got MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Hey, bro, I would be selling him. Right now, saying like, hey, he's the number one right there. He got Rodgers. You know what you could do. Hey, and not to mention, it took a while for Davante Adams to be the guy. If you remember, Davante Adams didn't just come out guns blazing like he did, top notch. It took a minute for him to be the guy. Had to take a back seat, had to fucking wait for them to get adjusted. It took a minute. So Marquez Valdes-Scantling, yeah, he could be the number one. Do I think he's going to be the number one? I don't think so. But if I'm a fantasy dynasty player, I'm selling him on that fact alone, bro, because it is that. That is the market, and that's what the value is right now for MVS. Yeah, no one's going to make that trade right now, but I would be selling him on that information. This puts Robert Tonyan, immediately puts Robert Tonyan in top tight end category for me, because you already had the season where Tonyan was just touchdown Tonyan, TD Tonyan. Last season, I believe was like a fall down. It was a little fluky, but injuries and shit like that. This puts Robert Tonyan in that top 8 category now, because who else is Rodgers going to throw it to? The majority of the targets went to Davante. Even when Davante was injured, the targets went to MVS, but the game plan was to Davante. Davante is not there no more. Tonyan has proven that he could, that Rodgers trusts him. He's gained him trust in the red zone as well, in clutch moments. You know what I'm saying? This puts up Aaron Jones' value, because Aaron Jones, he is a do-it-all running back as well, a satellite back to where he can catch the ball, he could run. They're going to be utilizing him more. This puts A.J. Dillon, his value going up right now too, because they're going to utilize him and the run game a lot more, and it's going to be a play action game. It's going to be a little bit of the same, but if you don't have a true number one, and it doesn't look like there is any more number ones in free agency. There was one who I thought could have been cool, but it opens up the value for Tonyan, opens up the value for Jones, Dillon, and MVS. I don't know if it lowers Rodgers' value. I mean, it has to, right? But I don't know if it does too much. You know what I'm saying? I think Rodgers will still be a little bit more of the same. But on the opposite side, so on the dead space ENT, we're arguing about is the AFC West the toughest division right now? Oh, they said the best. I don't say the best yet because they haven't proven it yet, but I say toughest, like the toughest schedule to look forward, the numbers, the players, everything that going into it. And this is when Russell Wilson went to the Broncos. And I still said, hey, it makes that division better, but I still think that the NFC West is the toughest division. The Chargers have acquired Khalil Mack. The Raiders have acquired Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. And I put in a request to the Dead Space Council, and I believe the episode will be up tomorrow about that I want to retract my statement, and I would like to say and let y'all know that the AFC West is now the toughest division in football because they have the best receiver. And I know a lot of people think like, oh, it's a downgrade. It is a downgrade for Adams, but it's an upgrade for the team. Why is it an upgrade for the team? I don't know who's necessarily the fourth place team right there. I don't know who's the third place team right there. I don't even know who the first place team is right there. You know what I'm saying? People are talking about, you got Adams and Carr's, their connection back in college. Yeah, it was college. They're different players. But I think now that Devontae being there, it opens up so much more. Does it lower the value for Waller? Does it lower the value for Renfrow? Maybe a little bit, but I think it still makes it more consistent because now teams have to target Devontae Adams. They have to actually key in on him because you're not just guarding somebody, just a regular fucking player. You're guarding an elite level receiver, considered the best receiver in the game. Even when he's not even putting up the numbers as the best receiver, he's still considered the best receiver in the game. This puts the Raiders up in that category to say, hey, they're in the running for top playoff spots, bro. They were already, and the reason why I say that is because even without, okay, so they lost Ruggs, right? Unfortunately, they lost Ruggs. They lost their coach last season. Waller was injured. Renfrow was cool. Jacobs was injured a lot. And they were still competing for that playoff spot. They were still competing for that third slot, that wild card, and they ended up going into the playoffs. They ended up beating the Chargers, who are basically the same team. Yeah, they got Khalil Mack, who are basically the same team, though. And I think the upgrade, like if you compare the upgrade to the teams, like, okay, the Chargers, what they were, added Khalil Mack. Boom. The Raiders, what they were, added Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. I think it's a massive upgrade for the team. Yes, it's a little bit of a downgrade in quarterback for Devontae, but there's no reason why Derek Carr should not be a great fantasy asset going forward. When he was thriving in fantasy and in real life football, he was targeting his best receiver, which was Darren Waller. And when that was happening, Darren Waller was a number one receiver. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Darren Waller was a number one receiver, even though he's a tight end, but he's a receiving tight end. He's a big guy. He could do it all. And that put the Raiders in contention to fight for the playoff spot. And now you just only make them better. You only have a Devontae Adams who I'm sure can get the ball from Derek Carr. People are saying like, oh, I don't know if Derek Carr can get it to him. Come on, man. I'm not a Raider fan. I'm not a Raider lover. I have no fucking ties for the Raiders, but come on, bruh. Like Derek Carr is an adequate quarterback. You know what I'm saying? With a stud. We never really seen him with a stud. The last time we seen him like with a stud and who kind of made it work was with, I believe, Michael Crabtree. Y'all remember that? And that was his rookie season, Derek Carr's. And he was putting up numbers. That season is the reason why Derek Carr is still here today, because the experiment for him to be a starting quarterback in the league was because of that season. Now, if you add the best receiver in the league, top 3 tight end in the league, a great fucking young route runner, a solid running back scheme, there's no reason why Derek Carr should be a horrible quarterback. There's no reason why Derek Carr cannot thrive in that division. So, yes, it's going to be a tough division. Then you got the Chargers. The Chargers, they're no joke either. but they always duke it out. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get to see these games. You get to see them play twice. Sometimes you may even see these teams play each other 3 times. That's why it's the toughest division. And if you can stay healthy, if the Raiders can stay healthy, we're going to see what it is. Is it the quarterback making the receiver, or does the receiver make the quarterback? And we're going to see this season. We haven't really had a season like that to where it's like the top quarterback and the top receiver where they split. I can't remember like when a time that had happened. So now, it's kind of like the whole Brady Belichick. Who was it? Was it the coach? Was it the quarterback? Now, is it the receiver or is it the quarterback? You know what I'm saying? So Raider fans, there's a lot to look up, man. There is a lot to look up. And I want in on that fantasy value, even though I don't have Renfro, don't have Jacobs, don't have Waller, definitely do not have Adams, definitely do not have Carr, but I want some type of value right there. I want to trade for maybe like a Renfro, trade for a Waller, you know what I'm saying? Because that kind of, if you can, make a trade for fucking Adams as well. I know my guy in my league, Master E, he has Devontae. Chances are he's not trading him. But I'm going to put a bid out for him, make the case saying like, yes, it is true that he is going to downgrade. His targets will go down. His efficiency will go down. Maybe his touchdowns go down. But as far as the team, they get better. But in fantasy, if you want to make a trade for Adams, I think that's how you do it, bro. You say, look at the quarterback situation, look at the team overall. There's too many targets to go around. The quarterback situation has proven he can't hold it. Sell it like that. I will. I know I'm not going to get him, but I'm going to go after the Raiders. The Raiders, I believe, is going to be pretty good fantasy value. Those are the big ones, I believe. The big news. A couple of little news that fantasy impact. Oh, my boy Allen Robinson. Hey. Shout out to you, A-Rob. Gets signed to the Rams, bro, which was, I did not see that coming. I don't know how the Rams do it. The Rams and the Saints are the only 2 teams in like the NFL, and the Patriots, who are the only teams who I believe that just find money, that just make room for money to sign these names, bro. Like I don't know how they do it, but so they sign A-Rob, which I believe in A-Rob so much. Like as far as a football player, I am a fucking big Allen Robinson fan. I think he's great. Thought he was great since college, bro. I think he's a great receiver, and it's a great asset. So now what you do, you essentially, you put in, so they had 4 ones at one point right there. Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Robert Woods, and OBJ. Chances of OBJ coming back, it's still up in the air, but they traded for Robert Woods. So what you did, you essentially just replaced Robert Woods. You replace Robert Woods with a younger version of himself. They're basically kind of maybe not the same player, but Robert Woods is a little bit faster. But A-Rob is still, he's younger, he studied, he has the pedigree, and now he finally has a quarterback to do it with. So big ups for the Rams, the defending champs, for doing that, because that's a big move, bro. To have Allen Robinson, who can be a 1 on another team, and now you just play number 2 to Cooper Kupp. That's great to me. You basically signed, you traded to go out and get some capital or something to for the tight ends. You traded Robert Woods to the tight ends, which I think it's a win-win for both teams right there. You need a number 2, and I think the whole Julio Jones and AJ Brown dynamic right there in Tennessee was a good thought, because you had 2 big receivers who could get it done, you know what I'm saying, gritty. And now it's like, okay, look, now you can focus on your AJ Brownie to be your number 1. He's a fucking beast. Don't have somebody to combat in him. Don't somebody like to kind of force the ball together. You know what I'm saying? You put someone in like Robert Woods, who can make his way into any roster, any playbook, and still become an asset on that offense. He's a stretch player. He's a small route ball catcher. He can get it deep sometimes. He's a speedster, and he's on the end around. He's that gadget player that you kind of don't take for granted, because you take for granted because of maybe you have a King Henry, maybe you have like a Cooper Kupp, an AJ Brown, things like that. So that it works out for both teams, I believe. That was one of the trades what I thought was one of the better trades in this free agency frenzy, bro. This is one of the craziest. Last year's free agency wasn't. I don't remember it being this crazy. I know a few years ago there was a big crazy one. I can't remember any other free agency being this crazy, bro. This is a lot. This is big a lot. Another move. Oh, so as y'all know that I am a big Antonio Gibson lover, bro. I think he's great. I am an owner. I have him in my dynasty. He's a great player. First rookie season, he was a top 5 fantasy running back, right? Second season, he comes out, but you got J.D. McKissick. Yes, I'm going there. J.D. McKissick, bro. On the field, I love J.D. McKissick. I think he's a great player. He fits well with the Washington team, and I think he's a great player. I think he could catch, he could run, he's fast, he has all the skills to be a great backup running back, and he's exactly what you want in a backup running back, a third down back who's a satellite, who could get shifty, who could block. I'm not sure if he could block, but those little screen plays, those wheel routes, that's your guy. The news was that J.D. McKissick signed to the Buffalo Bills. That he signed to the Buffalo Bills, I believe, for like 2 years, and it was some amount of money. And then a few hours later, like a day later, it was like, oh, never mind, he's staying. So for a few hours, we Gibson owners, Gibson believers, Gibson truthers, Gibbs season, we had what we wanted, bro. We had the workhorse Antonio Gibson who was going to get everything because you see it on the field, bro. Even if you don't, if you're not a dynasty player, even if you're not a big Washington fan, you see the skill set that Antonio Gibson has. He could catch. He could run. He could block. He's shifty. He's heavy too. He's young. He was a receiver in college, bro. You know? He was a receiver in college. The only thing that was in his way from being fantasy dominant, and reason why I'm getting worked up is because I'm an owner, was J.D. McKissick. And when he left, we were like, oh my Lord, it's happening. You got the Ron Rivera, the Christian McCaffrey comparison. It's happening. It's finally happened. What is it? The third season? It's happening, bro. It's prime stakes season for him. Gibbs season. Nope. J.D. McKissick, bro. The Goblin. The fucking Goblin. The Snap Goblin. Comes back and, yes, it's a good move for the team to keep him. They love him there. As a Gibson owner, I don't love it. I don't love it, man. But here's the truth about it, though. Here's the truth about it. Without J.D. McKissick, he was a top 5 running back. With J.D. McKissick, he was still top 15. So you're okay. You're still cool with it. You're just not happy with him being your one running back, your number 1 running back. You know what I'm saying? If you can get him at a number 2, it's still great because he's still a stud. He still catches it. I know Carson Wentz doesn't really like to check down too much, so that will go. But I think it makes the offense a little bit more efficient. So it's more red zone targets, red zone opportunities, and Antonio Gibson scores touchdowns as well. So I think, okay, the reason why we are mad, and I'm saying me, the reason why I am mad is because you don't get the full full load that you wanted from Antonio Gibson. But now you're getting some kind of shared snap, 50-50 maybe. And yes, he's the better player. Yes, he's a starter. Yes, he's going to get more value, more of the value. But it's just you don't get that full opportunity that we were promised, that we've been promised for the past 3 years. So good move for the Washington Commanders, Salamanders. But as far as a Gibson owner, it's a shot in the gut, bro. What can I say? Another trade who I thought was really, really like good for both teams was Raheem Mostert going to the Dolphins. I think that was a trade, right? I think that might have been a trade. I'm not too sure. Let me look it up right here. Sorry. JPA football is what I'm looking at. God damn, there are so many trades that was happening. There is so many trades. Where the fuck is he at? Well, I can't find it. But I believe it was a trade. But Raheem Mostert, I know a lot of people thought that Chase Edmonds was going to be that guy. I thought he was going to be the guy too, but he's that shifty kind of back to where it's like I thought that maybe he will be kind of the Raheem Mostert role that they had in San Francisco, in Miami now. But they went out and signed Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert is a stud. The problem with him is that he is older now, and he only got a 1-year deal, which is I would like to have seen him sign for more. Excuse me. But he still gets it done, but he's injury prone. But he's fast as fuck. He has a good fucking he's patient in the backfield. He hits the holes hard. And he has the ability to stretch a play for a touchdown any given fucking play. Anytime he touches the ball. So it's a good move. And it's also a good move for the San Francisco 49ers because, yes, they love Raheem Mostert right there. I know Shanahan is, he has that running back by committee right there. But now you can have, what's his name, Elijah Mitchell to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? To share time with, I believe, Jeff Wilson Jr. And now you don't have to make the decision to say, who am I going to start? Who am I going to put in? Yeah, I know Raheem is injured, but he's good. You know what I'm saying? But now you don't have that in San Francisco. Now you can just focus on your offense and get it going. And Elijah Mitchell's going to be a top 10 running back because if anybody knows anything, it's Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, to be that guy, that running style of offense. And he's a genius at that. You know what I'm saying? With Trey Lance coming in to be the quarterback, another running quarterback, Deebo Samuels, who's still there on the outside. You got Brandon Ayuk, who's still a little shifty, but it's up in the air. But there's no doubt saying that running game is going to be straight fantasy value, whoever it is. So Elijah Mitchell, top 10 running back. I'm calling it. If he's healthy, of course. I think he's a stud, an absolute fucking stud. You still got what's his name? Trey Sermon there. I mean that yeah, he had fumble issues last year, but hey, it let him learn from it, let him come back, and that offense is still going to be very, very fantasy valuable for the next years to come because they got some young studs right there. But on the Miami side, you still got some things to work on. You got patches to work on, but I do think that it does work out in their favor, and I don't think they're done. They still need a couple of they need receivers. They got Waddle there, who I believe is the guy. If they can go out and get somebody else to complement him, I don't know who else is a free agent right now, but maybe they go out there in the draft. I don't know who else it is. I don't know who else is there, but if they can go after somebody else just to complement Waddle, they have Gesicki. Tua was good. They have their rotations in running backs. Their defense is all right. It could be better, you know what I'm saying? But that Miami Dolphins team could be formidable offense coming out of that AFC East, only because AFC is AFC East or North. I'm so brain dead today, people. I apologize, but in that division, they could still do it. But chances are they probably won't go get another compliment for Waddle. Chances are they won't start to rebuild that offense, that defense, and they're going to be a lot of the same. But if you can package something up for the Miami Dolphins, I think it should be a compliment to Waddle. You know what I'm saying? Another big news I could think of, not really too big, but Juju Smith-Schuster to the Chiefs. I think it's a massive upgrade to the Chiefs. They needed something. Last season, teams figured it out. Yes, they went to the AFC Championship. Yes, they did. They got it done in the end. But in the middle, they had that struggle period. Y'all remember, and I had Kelsey. Teams figured it out. Say, okay, we're just going to let them run on us, but we're not going to get beat by the pass. And that's what it was. They had no secondary receiver to trust in that small game, that small ball game, to where it's like, yes, you're going to get Tyreek Hill deep, but if he's double covered and you got Kelsey who's double covered, you're going to focus on what? Byron Pringle? Mecole Hardman? Like, they had their chance and they didn't show out. There was a lot of drop balls. Yes, I know the whole thing with Juju and his TikToks, whatever. He's still a fucking studded receiver. Yes, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a fucking fight on, baby. He's still a studded receiver, bro. If you can turn Juju into like an Allen Robinson type of player, he's big, bro. He's a big body. He's fast. He has hands. I don't know why people think he don't have hands. He got hands. He was doing it with Roethlisberger. And he's going to be the number 2. And I think Juju flourishes when he's the number 2 receiver, not battling for the 1. You know what I'm saying? Because when he was in Pittsburgh with Antonio Brown, he flourished, bro. He was the fucking best receiver fantasy-wise, only because people were doubling Antonio Brown. So when he became like the 1 and battling it out with Deontay Johnson and Claypool, it didn't really fit for him because that wasn't his style of play. And as an NFL, like any professional, any athlete, you adapt. You have to learn to adapt with what the team needs you to be. And if you can be that, then I think your NFL career will be great. And I think Juju, him going to Kansas City, going to a coach like, yes, Mike Tomlin was that a good coach, you know what I'm saying? But he was still young, but you had your ups, you had your downs, and now you're gone to a different franchise to where it's not necessarily just like you're going to be the guy there, you know what I'm saying? You're still going to be battling it out. And we know you're not the 1 receiver. So, Andy Reid's going to tell him, hey, let's stick to our game plan. This is our holes in our game. You need to fill those holes because you're not going to be Tyreek Hill, and you're not going to be Kelsey, and you're not going to be Byron Pringle. So we're going to run the ball, and we're going to get you on the 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 4s, and you're going to get those out routes, those slants, those coverage. And that's where he's going to flourish, bro. And I think that's what helps him out as his game and as well as a Kansas City Chief. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. So for any fantasy value upgrade, I think, yes, I have Kelsey, but I do think if you need to go after Juju, go ahead and go after Juju because you're tied to a great quarterback now. And any receiver who's tied to a great quarterback, you want that value. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on the receivers who can do it all with any quarterback, like the Terry McLaurins, the Allen Robinsons, the Keenan Allens. But if you do have a good quarterback, you always want to be tied to it, you know? So your MVS, your Juju Smith-Schuster, your Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, your Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, who else? Your Amari Coopers, all those type of players. Like if I left out some other players, those are the type of players you want in a fantasy, Henry Renfro's, all that, because you're tied to a good quarterback. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is all for the news I want to talk about. I don't want to hold you up for too much. But thank you for listening. Please subscribe, follow, rate, review. Shout out to the Dead Space Entertainment. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.